Good afternoon, lovely people out there in South Africa and the whole world. Today, there is a very special thing happening. We have Johanna Olivier from Black Tree Design here with us, and she is a real artist. She's a paper artist from South Africa. Welcome, Johanna, and tell us a little bit about your entire story.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
This is difficult.
It is. I've thought about that question a lot. Like thinking about my whole story. It's quite a question. I'm just thinking about how to answer it in a short sort of time frame. So I was born in KwaZulu-Natal, and I've always been a very creative person. So whether it's writing poetry or whether it's making greeting cards or stuff, I was always just creating stuff with my hands. And it was never something I thought I'd make money from. It was never something I was told I could make money from. So it was sort of like, that's great, but go get a real job once you finish school. So my life has sort of been a lot of crazy jobs, a lot of admin jobs that I've done well, but it hasn't really made me very happy. And then I became a mom. So, of course, birthday parties was the perfect opportunity to get creative. And creating their birthday parties each year was just amazing. And people said to me, go into event planning and stuff. But I just thought, no, I don't have the confidence. It's not something I could do. And then paper flowers just found me. It was like an Alice stumbling into Wonderland kind of story. We've got a jewelry store in Hout Bay, and so we had created a beautiful sort of branch installation above our counter, but I felt it lacked some pizzazz. And so I told my husband I'm going to find something to add to this installation. And I went to Pinterest, came across some beautiful, huge, oversized paper flowers, and I was hooked. It was like a love affair started. And two and a bit years later, I'm still like, it's growing strong. It's a beautiful love story. So that kind of got me to where I am now in a very short, concise.
I just can say cheers to this. Because cheers, Elfie.
Absolutely.
Because, I know this is your first interview. This is your red wine, and I just want to say cheers. That's how it is. We also celebrate. That's amazing. This is an amazing story. One of these very unexpected things that always happen to the most of our people that we talk to. They had never the plan to do what they are doing and things.
Absolutely.
I think this is also something very interesting, and maybe for young entrepreneurs a little bit of hope, because some of them they do not really know where to go and where's their journey. As I say, it is a journey. It is a way that we all go. We start somewhere and then we go along the way.
Definitely. And I homeschool my two children, and I tell them the same thing. Like, your passion will find you. You don't have to try and think about what you should do or which way you should go. It will find you. And it's totally true. Even in my 40s, paper flowers found me eventually, and it captured my heart. So I've said to them too, it will find you. Your passion, the thing you're meant to do, it will find you. So, and it's always when you're looking for other things that you find it. So it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you about your name, about your company name? Why have you called it Black Tree Designs? Specifically when you're working with paper material, it's so colorful. There's everything available. But why Black Tree?
Okay, so I always wear black. That was sort of the last part of the name, but I used to be Forever Blooms, and then there was a company with almost the exact same name. So I was forced to change my name. So I was chatting to my children, and my son said, well, paper comes from trees. So sort of tree design. So I thought, okay, that's cool. And designs opens it up. It's not just flowers. It could be sort of decor or anything. So I like the tree designs. And then I'm always wearing black. So it felt just natural to say black tree designs. So that's how that
Our
happened.
kids sometimes can be very clever. I know about
Oh, they
that.
are.
Yes.
He tells me all the time, I'm the reason you got your name. So I'm like, yes, you are. So I give credit where it's due. So yeah. Thank you for asking that. Not many people do. So thank you.
Yes. Now, well, that's what kids do. Yeah, they are curious. They want to know.
Absolutely.
But what I have seen, and I maybe, I mean, or everyone, I suggest everyone who's looking at this should check out your Instagram feed.
Or has already checked out.
Yeah, maybe they have already, but if not, then they should check out your Instagram feed. I mean, your work is really very, very, well, beautiful, but very original in the sense that sometimes traders and as people who have seen a lot of flowers, like, have to look twice whether it is like the real thing or whether it is paper. Is there somehow, like, I don't know, a school you learn this? Is this like all self-taught? Is it somewhere, like, I don't know, are there YouTube tricks that you can learn? How long does it take you to actually do something like that? Just tell us a little bit more about, like, I mean, it's easy to say, okay, fine, I also like to maybe do a birthday card, but what you're doing is not just, I mean, is not just a household item. It's like, it's an art. So how do you go about this? And obviously, like, where do you find inspiration for most of the things that you're doing?
Okay, so I actually teach at an academy in America. It's called the Paper Flower Academy. And we create a lot of tutorials on how to create beautiful, really realistic flowers. But there are so many resources as how to learn how to make them. I taught myself initially just by grabbing some real flowers, sort of dissecting them very sadly, pulling them apart and seeing how they were put together. And so that's how I learned, basically grabbing some real specimens, getting an idea of how they were all put together. But yes, there are, like I said, the Paper Flower Academy is beautiful for learning flowers. There's so many online courses and people online teaching paper flowers. And my inspiration, you guys are an inspiration. I mean, just seeing your beautiful flowers, and it drives me crazy. I'm like, oh my goodness, like I have to make that next and I have to do that next, because it's just so beautiful, and nature in itself is so inspiring. So I'm just, even if I see color, just color inspires me. Our native South African flowers inspire me. So inspiration's everywhere.
And maybe just something, because I mean, we also want to give this platform for people just to maybe think about, like, how people can connect. And I think specifically for you, I think a lot of the people actually from the wedding industry in terms of decorators can really get in touch with you, because you can create things for events, for weddings, that is just very unique. I mean, there are some things out there, and I mean, we have even asked you just for also a couple of things, but I mean, there are amazing things out there that can just make an event so different, but still not taking too away from a very authentic or natural touch, because I think this is for a lot of people still important, that it doesn't look it doesn't look artificial. Like, it still should look like natural, but it should be different to the natural. And obviously those, like, super sized flowers for a ceremony or for a welcome or for an arch or walkway or something like that, it cannot be natural. But I think, like, someone like you can really, like, bring something completely different to the table. So that is maybe just also for the people who are listening, as an idea that you do not just do something like small and, like, I don't know, some fiddly that you can put on the table, on the kitchen table or somewhere, but you can do, like, event size flowers, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the beauty about paper flowers. They're so versatile. You can create them oversized. You can create them realistic size. You can go crazy on color. So you can match your event. You can do anything really, and they last forever. And the paper that I use is Italian crepe paper. So it has a really beautiful natural look to it too. It actually looks like the petal, which is amazing. And you can manipulate color and just really make it really realistic, which I think people are just so amazed by, is just how realistic you can get a flower to look.
Yeah, and you could even get me to think like twice,
doubt yourself.
Doubt myself, yeah, because when I saw first time your flowers, I saw something, and I said that to you before. I saw something that was actually not available. I think it was in Ranunco or something that wasn't available just for that time of the year. And I said to myself, but where actually she got this flower from? I was a bit like, okay, puzzled. And then I looked, actually, what are you doing? And I said, this cannot be a paper flower. This can just not be, you know. And then we started actually looking deeper in, and I saw that all of your flowers are paper flowers. I said, oh my God, this is really amazing. And this is so beautiful. And I'm normally not a big fan of artificial flowers.
Totally, me too.
At all, I can actually say. Yeah, so that's why your art is somehow, let's say, a meeting halfway between real flowers and something that lasts, maybe even between dry flowers, because also not a lot of people maybe like dry flowers. And it can be a very modern art also to decorate events, if maybe even for specific couples or for special people, they don't want to spend or overspend a lot of money for real flowers because they say they don't last that long. So things that you create actually can be kept and can maybe be also create a memory. You can keep them somewhere decorated in your home or in your office or whatsoever. Tell me about your first order. I think like we all remember our first booking or whatever it was, you know. I still remember that, and it was years back, in another life, I think. And I got a booking for my venue overseas, and I was even doubting myself that about, can I charge them like about 1,500 rand or something like that?
Wow.
I mean, I must actually laugh about this today because I think I was completely like, I don't know. So like, I had no clue because this was not at all my core business, you know. And I fall a bit into this business, but then we grow into the businesses, you know, and then like 20 years later you can laugh about that. But how was your first order, and how you laugh about that already, you know. I think this is always
waiting for the story.
Yeah.
That's what I can relate so much. Like, I laugh about it now. But at the time, like, the nerves were just incredible. I had a bride who ordered just a full green bouquet. She wanted just greenery, and I was so terrified because I'd never done anything like that before. I was brand new in this art form, and this is a bride. Like, the bouquet is the most important part. I mean, everyone needed the bride and her bouquet, so I was just like, I don't want to ruin her day. I don't want to disappoint her. But anyway, she kind of, I said to her, please just give me some artistic license, because she sent me pictures, and I said, the truth is, I'm not going to be able to completely replicate what you're sending me, because it's art. So every piece is completely different. I said, but trust me. Show me what your dress looks like. Give me sort of paint me a picture. But just give me some trust and give me some opportunity to really create something for you. And she did. And then I remember the nerves of sending her the picture once I'd finished this bouquet, and just closing my eyes and just praying that she would love it. So I was like, oh my God, I was waiting. I know. And every minute that passes that she's not responding, you're just like, oh my goodness, like, what is going on? And then when the response comes through and she's like, I love it. It was just like, the best feeling ever. So,
really?
totally.
Brief.
It was like that. But yeah, that was my first order. The nerves were really real. And criticizing myself along the way and doubting myself and all those little things that happen when you're starting out. But she was so happy. The photos looked amazing. The photos came through about 10 o'clock at night after their wedding. And I was showing my husband, like, look at this. And I kept like zooming in, and people like, it's so beautiful. And I mean, that was everything. Like the feeling of that was just, I can only imagine how you feel when you put together a beautiful event, a wedding, and you see the pictures from what you've done. I can only imagine you also feel this, I did that.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people forget, that, and this is why we also do this, behind every name, behind like Black Tree Designs, there's actually a person behind it with real feelings, with real emotions, with real anxiety, with real, sweat and tears and all the rest, and I think a lot of people don't really realize that. Of course, like, we are also all sweat and tears when it comes to just finishing off the event. Like, most of the time, in a way, you are stressed because you really you work towards a day that cannot be repeated, particularly for weddings. It is a lot of pressure, a positive pressure in a way, but nonetheless there is a lot of pressure because nothing can go wrong like on that day. But still, something's going to go wrong, but you do not know from which angle. So you just have to really make sure that you stay on top of things. But obviously, all the time when we receive like the beautiful images and the event is finished, and obviously everything has in a way like run down smoothly. Because the trick is that the others don't like realize what has gone wrong, and that you just like really make sure things are moving along. But then we also say, wow, look at this, because
this we have really,
we have done this, like this is our job, and we have done this, and I think in a way we all have self-doubts, I think you can do 1,000 events, but there will be always in a way that somehow, like, can I really do this to the best of my abilities? And this is like something that is really deep down inside, and it's got nothing to do with other people tell you, because other people might tell you, you are brilliant, you can do it, it's great. But in a way, sometimes we are all vulnerable, and we are all like thinking about like stuff, but even more so when you're starting out, when you have no references to show, when you have like nothing to really like showcase in the sense to say, this is what my track record, like this is what I have done already, these are the people we have worked with. But I think that's also, again, like, for people who are listening, this is normal, this is human, this is something that is not,
remember, like I had a bouquet made, just like the story. I made a bouquet. I wasn't satisfied one time. I wasn't satisfied 2 times. I only was satisfied when I have redone it the 3rd time. This bouquet made so much waves. People said, this is the best bouquet ever they have seen. I couldn't believe it, because for me, it was such a struggle to get to this number 3 of the bouquet, to make it somehow to my own satisfaction, and then that it was then actually so good that other people liked it so much. I couldn't even realize myself at that point, because you just want to go over this, you want to make it finish. I think this is something what is very important for people to understand, and what Alfie said, we all have our self-doubts, and how you actually like work, like how long does it take to make things, how long in advance people have to order actually, or how you get to the creative process when you get an order and people tell you, that is maybe my idea, and how long that takes to come to life, everything.
It depends on the flower. Nothing, even the most simplest of flower can take you 5 or 6 hours to make. So you can get so sort of, because sort of coloring the paper, waiting on it to dry, and then maybe having to apply another color to sort of shaping petals, all that stuff. Everything is done from scratch. So some flowers have taken me days to create. It all depends. Obviously, the more sort of familiar you are with a flower, the sort of quicker you can get through it and handle the process a lot faster. But every process is so different, and that's what I love about this art form, is that it is so every flower turns out different. No two flowers are the same. It's every time I make even the same flower, the process will be slightly different. I will change something up or do something new. So the process is always different, and that's what makes it hard to charge sometimes, because people may request a flower I've never made. So I don't know until I've fully worked the process out to how long it's going to take me. So that's where it's been tricky for me as well, is that the flowers aren't necessarily cheap. People that appreciate art and want something really bespoke will order and not mind paying for an artistic piece they can keep in their home forever. But yeah, the process takes a long time, but it's done with lots of love. It's done with lots of just researching pictures and lots of study, and yeah, it's quite an amazing process. Actually, it's a beautiful thing to recreate a flower and watch it sort of evolve into the finished flower.
Okay. Did you actually have people like to work with you when you say, for example, you're teaching online maybe as well? Do you have a community now in South Africa, maybe for bigger projects and stuff, that you also have like taught maybe and they help you then if you have bigger projects, or are you doing everything like on your own?
That's exactly like I want to head towards teaching workshops. I don't have anyone at this point to help me. I'm doing everything by myself, which is also very limiting, because yeah, apart from homeschooling, apart from helping my husband in his business, I'm trying to teach on the academy and do my own little thing. It is very time consuming, but I want to do classes. I want to give people this ability to create some flowers, and then when a huge order comes in, to gather all the ladies together, even some men maybe,
Yes.
and just all sit together at a long table and just create some beautiful flowers. So that is my vision for as soon as lockdown and all this craziness is over, to be able to host some workshops and to give people a chance to create some paper flowers and also develop a love and a passion for this art.
Yes.
Very nice. And when you say about the lockdown, we just spoke briefly about that, because you also said something very honoring. You said you dressed up for us and you made your hair and your makeup and things
Yes.
like that, and we really appreciate
My
that.
husband's going to be very happy, because I don't normally look like this when he gets home, so he's going to be very happy. so he must thank you both.
Your husband.
I've had some wine. I'm happy. I'm relaxed. I've done my hair, my makeup. So yeah.
Yeah, but it's also nice actually, like to have such events, to have and during this time we felt also, and I mean with our session here, that we started and completely unexpectedly it went so viral, let me say like that people like it. We also got somehow a structure in our daily routine, to get up in the morning, to get to know, okay, what we have to dress, to have a lipstick on and to have a bit of a makeup, that also let us feel a bit of a kind of normality. I think that's also something that we all need in these days.
Yes.
So tell us a bit, like in your environment, how you cope with the situation, and also in terms of what has changed for your business, or what you maybe want to change in your business that you have figured out during this period, that you say, I mean, like or we can say we got to learn a bit about our work habits.
Sorry, you just broke up there a second. I didn't hear that last part.
Okay.
I said, like, how you have or how actually the situation right now has affected your business, right? Can you hear me?
Oh,
Can you hear me?
okay. Are we a bit of technical issues?
Okay, can you hear us?
Yeah, I see you frozen like somehow.
Yeah.
What you can do is can you hear us? You can just go out and come back in again.
We are waiting for you. Do you hear?
I can just see that your screen is frozen right now.
Oh, I'm struggling to hear you.
Yes, just come, just
We sent you a message.
just like remove yourself from the stream. Oh, now you're back. Can you hear us now again? No, it's frozen again.
Yeah.
Let me just send you a quick message.
Can you hear us? Do you hear us?
Okay.
Johanna, can you hear us?
Are we?
Can you
Yeah,
hear
I can't.
us?
Okay, maybe it's a bit better now. We can
Yep.
try. I couldn't hear anything.
Okay. Just maybe go out again and come in again. Like log out and log in again.
Frozen. Guys, I said go out and go back in.
Okay. So
Here's the
we'll go out.
husband.
Yeah. Technician.
Okay. Maybe it's a bit better now. We can try. How do I go out though?
Go back out of the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think in the meantime, while she is coming back, I just want to say, like, just check out Black Tree Design.
Yeah.
The last flower that you see is the David Austin rose. She has done the last post as well for us, obviously knowing that we're gonna speak now, and you will see like the amazing detail, and it looks like very, very close to a real flower. So that's really amazing work that she's doing. And I mean, not only for wedding like setups,
Yeah.
as well for gifting. I think that's a very nice idea also for gifting, for weddings or for events, supporting also local artists. I think that's, and it will become more and more important, because artists also during this time, I mean, are very, very hard hit along with everyone in the industry. But I think whatever we can do also to collectively support each other, and to also like maybe not get something imported from somewhere else if it's not necessary, then we should do that. And I think like this also as
It creates memories.
yes, as gifting solution, people like to take back home, if it's not something massive, something small, that just remind them about a beautiful event. I think that's lovely.
Let's just have a look if
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if someone has a question maybe to her, they can put it maybe in the comments here. Otherwise, I think for me, I would actually like to ask her how long she took to do the David Austin rose, like just out of interest. That would be really interesting to know.
yeah, but I think we still have to wait for a little
Here
moment.
she is.
There
Let's
she's
see.
back.
Hello, I'm back.
On track. There we are.
I did
Can you hear us
disappearing act, so now I'm back.
Yeah,
Oh my
good,
goodness.
all good,
All good.
all good. We all are not technicians, so we have to deal with the technical problems.
Yes,
No
and
problem.
sometimes also with the load shed, like these days, like sometimes it's really interfering, or and even it's not a
Definitely.
stable connection. But it's great that to have you back. I just
Thank
said
you.
we just were speaking about your Dave Austin rose, like the last post, like Instagram feed. How long did it take you to do that?
That rose probably took me about 5 hours to make.
Okay. Okay.
So
Wow.
I want to
That's-
show you quickly,
yeah.
if I can. Let me just have a look.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah,
Let me just have a look here. These are some
that's
tree
amazing that you
peonies
have
I've just
something
made
to show.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
with all the leaves.
Oh wow. They look incredible. Can I just say that?
Alexander Fleming.
They
Thank
look
you.
incredible.
Thank you. They are beautiful. I mean, the color is just, they're fuchsia, so bright, vivid. You know, we need some
Hold them
color in
back
our
into
lives.
the camera,
Let's put
put
it
them
back on
in
the.
the detail of this. And I hope
Yeah.
you will post a picture as well afterwards, like
that
on your
people can
Yes.
see
Instagram
that.
feed, that people can see it. Just hold one of them back again, like
Okay.
In the camera.
in the camera.
Yeah.
Look, even the
Like the little, like the
inside,
yellow,
even
like
the
what is it called
yeah,
actually?
like
The,
look
It's
at
even
this.
got
This
little
is
carpals
just
on the inside. It's actually,
yes.
it's even
That's what
got
I'm
the
saying.
little
I just
carpals.
from the distance, but
yeah.
yes, wow.
So
I mean, this is what an
I
artist
would
is.
say even the bees would sit down and would think like that's real.
that apart from being told that they look real, having bees come and sit on your flowers is the ultimate compliment. So
Yeah.
I've had that a few times. I feel really bad. I don't have pollen for them, but it's amazing to have them come and visit the flowers. It's beautiful.
That is
That's wow.
amazing.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
please,
Yeah,
post a picture
after
Yes,
afterwards.
I
this.
will.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I think we're gonna maybe send you a real peony picture, and you can put it against it, and it's
Yeah,
just like people
it
won't
is.
be able to tell.
Tell
Oh,
me about
amazing.
the colors. You said before there's paper from Italy that you are using. Are you using already the color of the paper, or is that then additionally like somehow painted or colored or whatever?
No, the paper is okay. So the original color, I will change it up. So I don't use the original color of the paper always. I'll take other papers and make my own alcohol inks or my own inks and dyes, or sometimes I use acrylic paints on it. So it's so versatile. You can use anything. I use chalk. I use eyeshadow. I use
Wow.
lots of different cool things on the paper, but very, very rarely is the paper used in its original color because I know I always wear black, but I live in a very colorful world. Like in my mind is super colorful. So I love exploring color and love exploring, just vibrant color. So yeah, I love coloring paper too.
And are you using, because you are explaining just like that comes to my mind, are you also using like natural colors like beetroot or whatever, like or spinach, or I don't know what else there's possible to get?
I'm so glad you brought that up because that's what I'm going to do. I plan on using some natural dyes as well. I mean, it's right there. It's easy to access. For my little stamens, though, I use like paprika. I use cinnamon. I use turmeric. So I use lots of natural little spices and stuff to create the stamens and the pollen. So it only makes sense to color the paper with some vegetable colors. And I know
Wow.
even avocado pips and things create beautiful colors. So that's definitely next on my list to experiment with some natural colors.
That's amazing.
Wow,
And I
that's
mean
cool.
sustainability and environmental friendliness in like and leaving some eco values like in your business approach. I mean, is becoming more and more important as well. I mean, for people to make a decision whether they are placing an order or whether they are like going with a certain option. I think it would
Yeah.
like set you really apart. And obviously, I mean, working with paper is a natural product already. So like everything else that can be natural around it, like would just add value to the whole idea of like having natural paper flowers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if you've seen on my Instagram too, I'd posted some pro tears I made from milk bottles. So it's been, especially in lockdown when we weren't able to go shopping for anything, I was literally like you scrounging for materials. So it's finding whatever you have and being, just reusing and recycling materials is it's so important. And really, like I've seen so much art coming forward from just bottles being cut up and plastic being melted in certain ways. And I think it's so wonderful that art doesn't have to be an expensive exercise of buying a lot of materials. You can use what you have in your home.
Exactly, and this leads actually back to the question before we lost you. I wanted to know how COVID actually has affected your business in certain ways. Not only that we all cannot go out or whatever, or that we have financially to look like where we are going and how we can overcome, but also how has it changed. And I mean, like, while you are talking about this with the bottles and stuff, it comes to my mind that that particularly here in Africa, we see a lot of like these native arts from the Black and colored communities, where they
Yes,
do something incredible out of nothing, out of like,
absolutely.
what's this on the bottles, the
lid,
lid,
the lids.
the bottles lid. They do incredible things, and with beads and just rubbish. Sometimes with rubbish, and you look
Absolutely.
at it, and you think like, what is this actually? And when they tell you like what it is, you can't even believe it. I think that teaches us also, and exactly what you say, that art can be done from any source.
Definitely. And I mean, like you're saying with African art, it blows my mind. The things that are created out of, like you said, like rubbish. I mean, to find a way to make it beautiful again and to repurpose it is just such a wonderful way to take care of the planet, but also to really just show that you can make beautiful things out of anything. So I think it is absolutely remarkable. And I want to push this as far as I can in terms of what I can use to make paper flowers from, and or even to make flowers in general from. So it's a very exciting challenge because there's so much waste and so much stuff we throw away.
Yeah.
And to think even egg cartons, to make flowers out of egg cartons, it's possible. So yeah, it's very exciting.
Maybe making flowers out of a newspaper paper and things like that, because I have
Yes.
seen an artist, a German couple is actually promoting South African art. They lived for many years here in South Africa, and if you have maybe the possibility that look at the traveling art gallery,
Okay.
they promote art from South Africa, and I love one particular artist. He had no money, and he was painting on newspaper paper. Uh, it is, you can't actually believe it before you have seen it. This is
No.
so incredible, and it's so simple, but it has
Unique also
unique.
now,
Yeah,
because now I mean it's like you have a sort of a time stamp, like something historic.
yeah,
Like if someone looks at this piece of art in 50 or 100 years
yeah,
from now, they
Wow.
have like newspaper from like this whatever time,
yeah.
like now,
But
plus they have the art, and I mean like
yeah, but
a lot of
it
the
was
things
created out of the need because he had
out of
no
the
money
need.
for canvas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing. I'm going to
yeah.
check them out for sure. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, can really recommend that. Coming back maybe to your own business and to your own story. Before we forget, when people want to reach out to you, like where they can actually, or how they can contact you.
Okay, so the best way is through Instagram. I also have an email, which is blacktreedesigns7@gmail.com. And I'm working on a store. I have got, you can't see it now because I'm behind such a blank background, but literally above me is a canopy of flowers. I've got flowers everywhere. So I'm busy working on little art pieces that I'm going to put into a space to sell. And so that's another, so that's coming. That's another future plan. But email,
Amazing.
Instagram, I've got so many future plans. And I'm on Facebook as well. So there's lots of ways to reach out.
Perfect.
Wonderful. And is there anything like beside this, what you think, what you would like to let people know in the industry, like from either your business or from your experiences, that you say, this is what I always wanted to let people know. I have never the chance to to talk about that?
That's the thing. Paper flowers is a very new. Okay, I can't say new because I don't know how long it's been in this country. But for me, it seems like it's still a relatively new thing. When I tell people I make paper flowers, they don't know what I'm talking about. But what I would love people to know is just the time and the amount of work that goes into creating just a single bloom. It really, I love that you said that it's art. I love and appreciate you got such a good eye. That I love that you recognize it as art, because a lot of people, when they hear paper flowers, they just think craft paper, tissue paper flowers from, the heyday times. But it really is artistic. It's a once-off piece of art, and it takes time, and it's they're investing in a piece in their home that's going to be spoken about for years and years to come, and it will still maintain its beauty and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty much the only thing I would want to share with anybody about this whole art form.
And maybe also when people, because you made it clear, and we also, this is a piece of art, like when people come to you and wanted maybe to know, like, what price range, from which price range to, I mean, already like open end, but what is a price range that you can work with to make something beautiful, maybe for, as you say, maybe for a bouquet or for an arrangement for a home or something, maybe not talking about an event, because that depends then already, like how many tables, how many these, or whatever it is. But for somebody maybe that wants to have something beautiful at home, or as a gift for somebody, maybe a paper bouquet or something like that, just to get people into the like price range that
because we think it's important to talk also about pricing. I mean,
100%.
on the one side, it's important to know like how much time and effort things actually like take. But on the other hand, also it's important to say, you know what, starting point realistically to get something beautiful is XYZ, so that people can really put also something into perspective, and don't come with also like wrong expectations,
or maybe with the fear that they cannot afford it, maybe, like,
or the other way around.
It's such a good point that you bring up, and it's something that has kind of made me really think about how I want to enter how I want to sort of push my business forward. Because firstly, we talk about not cheap. A peony can cost 480 Rand, depending on the size. So for some people, they're willing to pay that amount of money for a single flower. There's obviously ways we can get around making it cheaper. But exactly that expectation of, when you say paper flowers, they think like 20 Rand for a flower, or 5 Rand or 10 Rand. But you can have a beautiful center peony for 480 Rand, for example, and cover it with realistic or real foliage. So there's ways to get around paying a lot of money. You can have a nice center flower that will last you forever, but just add it with some realistic foliage. But a flower can cost anywhere from like 200 Rand up to like 500 Rand. Like a protea, for example, that just takes hours and hours and hours to recreate.
Yes,
totally.
I mean, if people maybe bring it in the right perspective, if people maybe next time asking and are surprising about 500 Rand, and maybe ask them how much they pay for 5 hours for their lawyer, and then maybe
very good point.
I mean,
I'm going to actually say cheers to that. That's brilliant. Absolutely.
That's much more
beautiful point. I love that. It's just
also.
Yeah, I always like to bring things into the right relation. Even though that we had this very often about like mock-ups and things like that. I always say, are you gonna go to a designer and ask him to make you a paper dress before you get the real dress? You would not, and
exactly.
and also about price wise, if people have a certain budget, they know if they can go to buy a used car, or they can go to buy a brand new car. And I think this is exactly what I think in to get the right like comparison, for things. And
But also depending on the season, for example, peonies, like real peonies, already cost between like 100 to 150 rand per stem. Like
in the maximum.
That's like the highest price. That's why I'm saying depending on season, and what you are
it's
offering.
not lasting.
What you are offering is, I mean, is like a seasonless flower, which means like you do it like now, and you can keep it for the next 5 years plus in your living room, so it is I think it also, people need to put things like into perspective. Of course, it's not a fresh flower, but also again the time, and that's why I wanted to ask, like, also how much time this David Austin rose, for example, took you, because people might think, wow, it's beautiful, but by the end of the day, like 5 hours, almost like it's a working day, it's like one working day that you need to somehow cover by the expenses. And then you say Italian paper, we already all know just by the word Italian, that it like traveled from Italy here, and it's not cheap to just get stuff all the way from Europe down here. So it's not just your work, it's like all included. So it's not expensive, like when you put it in the right perspective, I think.
I love that.
Yeah.
Beautifully put. I couldn't even add anything to it. Absolutely perfectly said.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
No, I mean, we like we want to, like, this is not just, it's not about us in the sense that we want to also give people the opportunity to educate here, and usually we don't even think about this, we see something beautiful, we say, oh wow, it's nice, but then when we hear 500 rand, we're like, oh, but then, like, to just really take the minute to think about sometimes, like, what you're getting, what value you're getting for your money.
And I also think what you said is quite very important. We very often see that, particularly in the flower industry, people do not talk about prices, about how much things cost. We hear then placatively that people say, yeah, but flowers are expensive. Like, I mean, obviously, what is expensive? That's the first question. Secondly is, where do you get these flowers, or what is the demand and the supply? You can get flowers for 29 rand at some point. You can get peonies for 220 at another day. That all is possible. But also, I think we in our industry in particularly, we are not talking enough about how much flowers cost, because people know maybe what they cost at Checkers or at whatever, or at Woolies. That's a bunch of this and that, but that's all what they know. They don't know maybe a lot about the differences of flowers, the differences, what time these flowers are maybe in season, when they can get cheaper or more expensive. I think this is on all of us. And when you see, and that's very often I see in the magazines, when there is like photo shoots, you get a price tag on each and everything, even on the decor pot for I don't know what, there is a price tag. But when it comes to the flower arrangements, then it says a price on request. Why is that price on request? Because this particular bouquet or decoration, I can mark it to say, okay, this bouquet is about 4,000 rand or 1,500 or 500, whatever it is. But obviously people can get it at different prices for different with different flowers, with different times of the year. But exactly now, this is what you have to pay for. And I think that would give a lot of our florists in our industry a not so much hard time when clients come with expectations. And I'm not blaming them, because they cannot know, because nobody told them so far what to expect. They just see these beautiful Pinterest pictures, all over, and they just fall out of the chair when they hear how much it costs, because they don't know. And that's why we also think it's important, like in our industry, but also in the surrounding industries, to talk about things, how much things are.
You're so right in what you're saying. And people hate talking about money and price of things, but you need to. It's like exactly what you say. Otherwise, people develop a false sense of what things cost. And then in their mind, they start to formulate what it could cost. And then they always underestimate. So when they hear how much it does cost, they get shocked. But absolutely, especially with flowers, like it needs to be advertised how much they are, so people get a realistic expectation of what they're going to pay. So it shouldn't be something that is hidden and not spoken about. It's but you're right. It's saying that it isn't spoken about enough.
Yeah, and what we all do, including you, is not a hobby. Is we have to make a living out of that.
100%.
It's like a hairdresser or whatever. Like they do the jobs and we do another job, and we have to make money to survive, to pay our bills, to pay our staff, and whatever. I think there is also a huge misconception when it comes to like flowers, or maybe even art for flowers, that people think, oh, this is a nice hobby that you are doing. Like you must enjoy working every day with flowers. We do enjoy, but also we do enjoy to get paid for that, like, in a proper way.
No, but absolutely. I mean, my husband hasn't been able to earn a salary from lockdown for like the last 3 months. He wasn't able to work. So from me doing the flowers through the academy was what kept us afloat. So absolutely, I'm not in this because I've got nothing better to do and because I want to just, do a little hobby and a little sideline thing. This has been something where I need to make a livable income. Otherwise, it really isn't worth my time doing. And I've got people that are willing to pay that and willing to understand that. And I've had to sort of say no to people who aren't willing to understand that. I'm not trying to give stuff away. I'm doing this because I need to also help put food on the table or pay bills or whatever it may be. So absolutely. And it's your expertise they're paying for. It's your skill, your artistry, your vision. So yeah, I mean, how do you put a price on that as well? It's
knowledge is worth to get paid.
Yeah, and I mean, you take 5 hours doing this. Like, get someone else to do it. It takes like 50 hours, like me, for example. I mean, it's not about like the time also that you are like using on this, but it's like the time that you have had, like, in order to get to your 5 hours, So this is, I think, also a little bit a different perspective. It's not just, okay, like 2 hours, but it's not like my 2 hours, because I wouldn't even do one petal in 2 hours. Like, I mean, that's just the way it is.
Can I ask, like, you said you do this academy. Yeah. Is this also where you get international like clients to that you teach, or is this on the academy for South African people?
No, the academy is mostly Americans. It's based, most of the people that I do teach are Americans or from New Zealand or Australia or all around the world. Very few, I think, are South African. So the majority of my audience are internationals, interestingly enough.
So you are very famous. Wow.
Like you, yeah. No. I'm better known overseas than I am here. Like, people here don't, but that's fine. I don't mind.
But can you tell me, like, I mean, I don't know, because really it's not my game, in the sense of that I'm not following it. But is it difficult to teach this like online, or like, I mean, in the sense of, like, I don't know if you need to cut stuff and things, like, is it difficult to do this on an online course? I mean, obviously it's possible, you're doing it, but like is the, like, I mean, I guess obviously like one-to-one is always better, and it's always, I mean, much more enjoyable. But how difficult do you find it, like, to do those online courses?
The online courses are awesome, and I'll tell you why. Because you can go back and rewind and go over stuff you missed. which you can't really do on a live session. If you miss something, it's kind of like we've got to keep moving. Being recorded, you can go back and play it as many times as you want. So from that perspective, it's great. You can zoom in on details and really take your time. So I love that. There's no real pressure of time constraints. You can sort of take your time and film a really detailed tutorial. And what's beautiful too is that the tutorials are filmed in sections. So like from the stamen is one section, petals is one section, sort of the calyx is one section. So it's all sort of itemized and done in a way that's easy to follow. And you go back and look at it whenever you want. So I love that about online teaching, but you miss the interaction with live. Like that's why I want to do classes, because you can't beat a one-on-one with somebody and just the atmosphere and the energy and all of that stuff. So I'm very keen to see how a live class will go down.
Like this. Yeah. And I think particularly now, I mean, after COVID, you might have even some more interest because people will be willing to just be around people, you know. I mean, they just want to have the community. They just want to be able to touch someone or laugh with someone, see someone smile. I mean, this is already, this is my biggest thing right now with all those masks is you don't see any really human emotions, and I think that is I mean something that will definitely maybe help boost like workshops and just like gatherings, and the sense people can like learn something that they are into, and yet maybe like get just to know some new friends or make friends, just be happy.
Well, do you want to become my new flower paper friend?
Well, I wish I had the patience to do something like this, but unfortunately not. But everyone out there who is interested should contact Johanna Olivier from Black Tree Designs.
And where they can actually book your sessions, maybe like your teaching. Where one can book that.
Okay, so on my Instagram, there's a link in the bio that gives you access to all the courses that I've created. And I've created a lot. My latest one was a black tomato vine, which is beautiful. So adding sort of tomatoes to an arrangement is just so pretty, so different. So yeah, there's access to all the courses and all the information that anyone will need to learn how to make paper flowers.
For how long you do these courses actually already, and how long they take? Maybe just also something like how long this like do you pay for one course, which is one day, or one flower, or how is this structured?
Yeah, so each course is got an individual price tag to it. So for the black tomato vine, for example, you'll pay a set price, but it'll give you the entire tutorial on how to create them from start all the way to finish, give you a list of materials that you'll need, templates for creating the leaves and whatever else that you need. And yeah, so it's a once-off price for each individual flower or tomato or yeah.
Okay, that was interesting.
Yes. So maybe you're gonna see us maybe rocking up at one of your workshops, bringing you some real flowers.
Yeah.
I want to rock up to one of your workshops.
Like it always. You know,
I can
maybe
just imagine.
Have a workshop together.
I can just imagine it'll be such a party to hang out with the two of you. Like just so amazing. Like and just surrounded by real flowers. It'll just be absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. You must actually remind me. Like when all this is over, that we have maybe to make a plan to have like a combined workshop, like a fresh
absolutely
and flower workshop. Maybe that would be interesting for a lot of people.
That would be phenomenal. I have this dream of like a bridal party, all coming together, sitting around the table, and the bride is there with all her bridesmaids, and they create each individual flower and then put it together to give her a bouquet at the end of the day. Like, just something that can take to last forever. Like there's just, you can create memories around it, but a combined workshop, I'm going to say cheers to that on a little tiny bit of wine.
I have nothing anymore to drink, so, but I would say cheers. Definitely cheers.
Awesome.
Me up on that. if I'm not coming back to you, so you are most welcome to knock on my door at any time. So
I'd love to.
that I would be actually really interested in, because I honestly wanted to know how you do that.
I want to show you. So yeah, absolutely. It'll be great. It'll be absolutely great. I appreciate it so much.
Wonderful. Johanna, it was such a pleasure actually talking to you. And it was, I hope it was not too stressful for you for your first interview, as you told me before. It learned a lot. We laughed a lot. We lost you one time, but we got you back. So I think we had everything in one shot. So
No story is complete without a bit of an adventure. So thank you. Thank you. My first interview is going to be something I'll remember forever. So thank you for making it so relaxing and wonderful. So I appreciate it so much.
most welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. You are an artist. I mean, keep inspiring people, keep teaching people. I think by the end of the day, our lives are measured by the number of lives we are touching, and with giving classes and like teaching other people. I mean, this is the best way we can actually share our passion and what we love to do. And I think for a lot of time, like maybe also, or for a lot of people right now, this is the time where they like reflect, and maybe this is also some work that people can do to just be peaceful, like with themselves, you know, like to just not to do it for a business, and not to do it maybe to make some money, but just maybe to find something that they can do at home, because we all know that's going to be a thing for the future, if we like it or not. But just create something beautiful. I think it's a good way to go.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
Great. Thank you so much. Take
Thank you
care.
so much.
Thank you.
Regards to the husband. Have a very good evening, and all the
I'm
very
so
best.
happy he
Thank
came back and he saw me and he's smiling like, wow. So I'm like, need to thank the ladies.
You looked amazing.
Thank you. So
Thank
do
you for
you.
your time.
So do you.
Johanna.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye-bye.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.